Esports. It's in the game.
Okay, good evening everybody, and welcome back to RPM Season 5. It's time for round 10, and this night is Wednesday, which makes it Championship Division night. It's the first time I've been covering this division for quite a few weeks now. I believe the last time was Monaco. We have 27 laps around this 3.6 mile circuit, 8 corners to the left and 10 to the right. 2 DRS zones around this fairly flat circuit. I'm sure most of the drivers will be quite familiar with what Silverstone has to offer. It's been on most calendars, I would imagine, in RPM so far. So we've absolutely flown through the season, really. After those weeks that I've had off, especially from commentary, we're at the penultimate phase, let's say, of the season with 3 races to go. And of course, tonight is the sprint race, the 3rd sprint race of the season, and what a track to host that kind of event on. So after this, we've got Baku, which will be a big challenge, and then the season finale around Imola, which I don't think we've driven, I don't think it was on last year's calendar. You'll have to forgive me because I have not had a chance to update the standings. Let's switch back just in time then, as we have 30 seconds before the race gets underway. We've got a few guys in the stream, which is good to see. We've got Inorganic, good luck to everyone, and good luck to the Williams boys. And Kieran, yeah, the usual good stuff. Good to see you back. I failed to mention that it's me on my own tonight. That's no fault of Luke's. He covered First Division last night, as some of you may be aware. So I said, you don't need to do it twice in a week. That's absolutely fine. I will take it now. Here we go then. Just in time, we have lights out on the formation lap. And the leader, Harry Palmer, who I believe is a reserve driver, and therefore starts, well, maybe he should be starting in the middle of the pack, but nonetheless, we'll see how his pace goes. He's obviously a new driver in this division, reserving at the minute. So, Andrew will maybe feel slightly hard done by. He probably should be on pole position, given that he is new to this championship division, but he has the pace of a Premier driver. So again, people in behind him will feel even more hard done by, with two seemingly, well, pacey drivers, let's say, at the front of the field. Let's see how Harry gets on particularly. I haven't seen what he's got on offer yet. The two Mercedes starting P4 and P5, so they don't want to watch out for each other at the start. No contact, ideally, in the opening lap. Wardy, Kieran, Stubby, Dino, and Schnitzy round off the top 10 in the Ferraris, McLarens, and Alfa Romeos. And then Stebo, Booty, Huss, Tonchak, Rodo, and Schmidt, the championship leaders, round up the back of the field. For once, Booty doesn't start at the back, having not qualified, as his usual idea. So Harry leads us down the back straight, down the hanger straight towards Stowe Corner, finalising those tyre preparations. This is a good question. I don't actually know if he can join back, because I told him earlier that it was qualifying that he couldn't join. I forgot that it wasn't qualifying. Let me see if I can get to him, but I'm not going to let it get in the way. If he's already dropped connection, then to be honest, he's probably not going to be able to. I'll have to sort that later, because there's action about to happen. So that's unfortunate, but he may have to just accept that he's going to start from the back. We've got the first guy jumping his grid slot. That's Andrew. So let's quickly get everything set up, because I've failed to do this here. Let's get position changes, telemetry, and track map. Good stuff. And let's bring up all of this stuff, which I took off earlier. So we have lights then. We have 5 of them, and they're underway for the sprint. 9 laps to go around Silverstone. We've got a terrible angle. And there's, oh my god, there's contact at the back already. Huss is already out. He didn't even make it to turn 1. Andrew leads through turn 1. Harry has dropped a position. Cosmo and Dragos up. Kieran in the McLaren is also out. Freefall's dropped down 11 places. Carnage at the start. Huss barely even made it off the line. Kieran couldn't make it through turn 1. And the yellow flags are out. I believe that's a virtual safety car. Freefall down 11 places then. And the gap opened up to nearly 3 seconds. Well, it is 3 seconds now between second and third. So Andrew, great launch off the line to lead over Harry. But a disaster for Aston Martin and McLaren. The safety car is out on track. We have a full course safety car before the drivers have even made it through Village. That gives me a chance to check on Stebo. Okay. Okay, so the chat is filling up. Let's catch up with what some of you guys have got to say. We've got Ivor in. And we've got Callum. Good luck to the Red Bulls. And Kieran. Well, so far Kieran's had 2 good luck messages. And as you can see, he's already in retirement mode. So he'll be starting at the back of the field for the feature race. Colin's joining us as well. Evening to you too, mate. Wardy's hungover. Steeble racing from a hotel room. We need some luck. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, same there. Full course safety car after 1 turn. And I must say, I'm not entirely sure how Huss managed to DNF before a corner. But nevertheless, it may well have been Steeble, to be honest. His AI may not have launched off the line. Actually, no, it has, hasn't it? For some reason, the retired cars are making their way back around the circuit. Or is that just Snitsy? That's Snitsy. All good, all good. So, a pretty anticlimactic start, I will say. I got about 10 seconds of action commentary in before the yellow flags came out. And Andrew getting very close to the safety car indeed there. Harry nearly going up behind him. Very interesting to see what Harry's pace is going to be like. See if he can hold off some of the guys in behind him. And let's hope that Cosmo doesn't have any IRL mechanical issues this week. So it seems like the safety car is probably going to be out for at least another lap. While I just take in all of this. So let's take a look then. So we've got the biggest gainer is Schmidt up from the back. He started in P16. He finds himself in P10. So he'll be loving this safety car. It gives him another fresh restart in behind Stebo, who's disconnected, and Stubby ahead. So he'll be looking to gain at least 2 or 3 places off the rip. Rodo, however, unfortunately, he started second last, and now he's dead last. So he hasn't made much of an improvement aside from those 2 DNF cars. Booty's also made quite a big gain, but Freefall finds himself all the way down. I believe he started in 3rd, and he finds himself down in P11. So the driver's now heading round down Wellington Straight. Once again, let's check for damage. I mean, people probably would have pitted at this point, but it looks like everyone's in good condition as it stands. Everyone's got their end plates. Everyone on those medium tyres as well, I believe. Let me just double check that because I haven't brought that up once yet. No, that is not true. The guys who have boxed have smartly gone on the soft tyres, which is what you would expect. I've learnt the hard way that if you go onto mediums, you only have 2 sets. So if you go on to mediums during the sprint race, you don't have a fresh set for the feature race. So importantly, those guys have gone on to the softs. No one started the race on softs though, as you would also expect. And anybody who's underfueled will be loving this at the minute. You can get away with quite low fuel around here. And the safety car period will certainly be helping with that. And I've also realised that this is not First Division. This is Championship. Fixed. That's what happens when you swap between divisions and when you take a few weeks off. That's obviously a rarity. Had to take it off because Newcastle reached the League Cup final. And you can't be missing games like that, can you? So, I don't think the safety car... Oh, the safety car is in. Superb. I missed that message. Here we go then. Let's get back on board with Andrew then. Let's see when he goes. He's gone early. I think he's gone already. Yes, he has. And let's ride on board then with everyone as they cross the line. Let's see if anyone can get any early overtakes done. If anyone drops it out of the last corner. There's quite a big gap there between the two drivers there. Stubby and Stevo already. He's been taking the AI. I imagine that's the AI. Getting past on the way into Village. Schmidt makes an easy work of that. The Haas of Freefall is next. And then it's those guys on the soft compound tyres. Freefall getting very close in behind. Hopefully he's aware of that AI car. Plenty of battery to deploy as they go wheel to wheel at the end of Wellington Straight. Oh, and he goes right around the outside of both cars. Great move. I mean, obviously one's AI, but still, to avoid both cars and get through, Freefall holds on to that position then. After Tomchek looked to sneak up the inside, but he's going to come right back at him as he head through Cop's corner. He goes around the outside. They don't make contact. Great. He might have picked up a track limits warning there. Tomchek is ahead as things stand though. As they head through Maggots and Beckett, he cuts back in front of the Haas and he is ahead. Who's going to get the better exit though? Still another straight to come. Tomchek has used a lot more ERS to get that move done, and it looks as though he's going to hold on to the position for this lap. At a minimum in the McLaren of Schnitzy comes steaming past Freefall around the outside. Oh, and he gets awfully close to the back of the McLaren there, who may have also picked up track limits, and he's not going to look to dive down the inside. And who's that coming up? Rodo has just absolutely misjudged that braking completely, and surely that's damage. The safety car, please don't say the safety car's back out. We've got a Haas in the wall, Freefall's in the wall. I missed that. The safety car is back out, so I love my job. It's sensational. We've had one lap, well no, we've had one turn, then we've had one lap. And by the time the safety car comes in, we're probably only going to have another 2 laps or so. So, round of applause to the championship drivers who've been unable to keep the safety car out for more than a few laps. But I'm not at all sure what Rodo was thinking there. He missed the pit entry, obviously, so he has to do another lap before he can replace his entire front wing. But he came out of absolutely nowhere. Freefall had a difficult run down the Hanger Straight. Then going into Vale, into the braking zone, the chicane of Vale, it all just seemed to unfold for a whole bunch of drivers. The third retirement of the race after one racing lap, and the safety car will wait to pick up Andrew once again, who had picked up a pretty decent gap. It's over a second and a half, I believe it was, at the start of the safety car. But now that's all going to be reduced again. Now, no one will box unless they've got damage, obviously. But yeah, you're right, Ivor. What a mess indeed. What a mess. Hopefully we'll get at least 2 consecutive laps of racing underway. Possibly DRS might be activated at some stage. It might not be, but hopefully it is. I'd be really interested to know how Freefall ended up all the way over by the left tyre barrier, because I think I was on board with him, and then was it Schnitzy that Rodo collided with? Unless Freefall's maybe just completely binned it on the throttle coming out of Vale toward Club, and has just ended up in the barrier. But it seemed like he was quite a long way off the track to have dropped the throttle. So you never know, that one might end up in the steward's room. So the position change is still on screen. Schmidt did manage to get another position, so he's slowly picking his way through the field, although he hasn't had much of an opportunity to really go for it. And other than that, no one's really significantly lost out. A few drivers in the midfield still in their original grid slot position. And those big losses in Kieran and Freefall have DNF from the entire race, so they'll start toward the back. But it's really just Schmidt and Booty who've made any lasting impressions. Tonchak and Dino doing okay as well. Now, I did miss the message if it came up, but I'd be doubtful for the safety car going in this lap. Nope, it stays out, so we've got one more lap behind the safety car. So there will be 2 laps, only 2 laps of racing. So, become the end of this, the sprint will have been behind the safety car for 66% of the race. There's a one for you. We'll have had lap, whatever it was, 3 or 4 of racing, and then we'll have laps 8 and 9 of racing. So isn't that just amazing? I didn't catch First Division last night, so I don't know how their sprint went, if they had any safety cars, but there were a lot of safety cars I remember back in Brazil, particularly in the Premier Division race. I believe there was even 3 maybe, but I think that was a slightly longer sprint race. 9 laps around here, and more than most of them behind the safety car isn't really what you want to see. Realistically, there should be a way to turn the safety car off for a sprint race, because it's just a bit excessive, isn't it? So 15 of you in tonight, which is good. I always say let's aim for 20, so I'll keep my eyes on that. And let's see if we can hit 20. We're yet to hit 25, so I'm hoping that the average, particularly next season, I hope the average becomes 20. That would be great, to get as many people in here as we can. And then we'll grow and go and grow from there. Yeah, Inorganic confirming that there was no SC in the sprint race yesterday, which is good. At least those guys can drive. I mean, I don't want to slate these guys too hard, because I'm sure Premier Division will be no different tomorrow, but seemingly over the last few weeks, although First Division is classed as the slowest paced division, it seems like they have the more sensible drivers, which goes a long way, I suppose, when you can rely on clean races. So the safety car is in this lap, so we can get underway with the final 2 laps of this sprint race to determine the grid for the 27 laps around Silverstone that we have ahead of us tonight. And Andrew will have the responsibility once again of putting his foot down at the end of the Vale chicane. Got to keep it neat and tidy through club. And let's see if Harry can make any impressions different to how he did last time. Andrew immediately cuts over, and he's trying to get an extra bit of tyre temperature in there. That would probably classify as weaving there. I'm not going to be too harsh on him, but you should really make one move. And Harry is right up behind him straight away, and Andrew's gone very deep there. He's going to get a better run surely all the way down Wellington Straight is Harry. We've got Rodo in the back taking Stebo. I don't want to move away from this, because there's a good chance that he can get the move done. Andrew's moved once, he's moved twice, he can't move again. And under braking they go. Through Brooklands and round Luffield. Nothing giving there. Cosmo looking to make grounds on these 2 drivers. He'll still think he stands up with a chance of starting on pole position. But Dragos, the other Mercedes driver, also in with a shout. A small gap towards Dino in behind, and then an even bigger gap to Wardy, who's already dropped nearly a second. The closest battle now then is for Booty in behind. Let's keep eyes on this as they head through Maggots. And Beckett's down onto the Hanger Straight over Chapel. Now they open up the throttle. There's not going to be DRS for the entire sprint race, which is so ironic. Let's see then what's going on at the front. Gaps appearing all over the place. Schmidt will look to take Stubby before the end of this race. There's an issue in Sector 3. Who's that? It's gone off. It's Harry. Harry's made a mistake. Has he collected anybody? No, he hasn't. He's made a mistake coming out of Vale, and he's dropped from P2 all the way down to P8. So disappointing for the Haas driver there as they come up and over the bank. That was very close between himself and Stubby. Schmidt has found himself in between these 2 drivers. He was close to Stubby to begin with. And now Harry's joined the party. Andrew, comfortable margin, 1.3 seconds in the lead. All he's got to do is bring that car home in the final lap of the sprint, and he will start on pole position. The closest battle is happening at the back of the grid. Schnitzy closing in on Tonchak. He's going to look to get a better entry here. Can he get a better exit though? Pretty equal. He's on those soft tyres, as is Tonchak, I believe. Yep. Everyone from Schmidt above on the softs, on the medium, sorry. Nothing given at the front. Harry looking to close in on Stubby. Is he going to open up his line? He has. Oh, no, he hasn't. Oh, my goodness, that was close to losing it, the oversteer there, but he's kept it together. And he's going to give everything he's got here going down the hanger straight for the final time in the sprint. He's going to burn off that ARS. He's going to move over to the inside. Is he going to get the move done? He's looked to go up the inside for the switchback. Is Stubby going to give him the space? Yes, he has. Is he going to go around the outside? He does, and Stubby's entitled to kind of shut that door, which he does in the end. Andrew comes home in P1, Cosmo P2. And no, Harry's dropped it on the line. He'll finish the race, will he? No, he hasn't. Oh, yes, he has. Okay. He crossed the line. I wasn't sure where the finish line was there. So Harry comes home in P8, but he's dropped it twice there out of club. You'd think he might have taken that a little bit more cautiously. Going through there. So we'll have to review that. The top three, Mercedes and Andrew. So a good result for the Mercedes too. And let's hope these drivers can get through turn one without any incidents. Let's review those positions. Let's have a look at the chat. We're nearly at 20 viewers, guys. So let's keep that going, shall we? Let's have a look then. Andrew, Cosmo and Dragos, as we said. Dino up in P4. Wardy, Booty, Stubby, and unfortunately for Harry, drops down to P8 in the final couple of laps. Schmidt has done well to get himself into the midfield ahead of the... sorry, I'm just messaging Stubby so he can try and get himself back in. Rodo, not the best. He'll have hoped to have got more from that. He's in P12, so it's not the end of the world. And then Steve-O rounds off the finishers. Obviously the AI of Steve-O. So he'll start toward the back, but he's not dead last. We've got Husk, Kieran and Freefall in behind him there. Let's take a look at the chat. We've got Spritzy in the chat. Good evening. And he says, ha, way. I assume that means ho-way, which is spelt with an O, but I'll accept the typo. All come in the household tonight. Yep. Callum saying, look, you turn one. Well, my fault yesterday. Oh, he's talking about yesterday's race. That's cool. That's funny, you know, Gareth. Very funny. That would be a painful removal, I'm quite sure. So it's bright sunshine, which the drivers will be pleased for. Blue skies, which doesn't sound like it's going to rain. Doesn't look like it's going to rain throughout the course of the next hour or so. And let's just hope we can have more than 2 racing laps without the safety car needing to be brought out. Or Bert Mylander will need to be getting a pay rise, I would imagine, because Christ. Nothing even happened in that sprint race, really, unfortunately. But nonetheless, we are nearly at the start for the formation lap. So I'm going to take a drink. Cheers to anyone who's got a beverage tonight. So, we're away then. The formation lap. Andrew looking to get those tyre warmings done, hopefully this time before he reaches the start-finish line. Oh yeah, Ivor with a nice reminder there. Don't forget to leave a like on the stream. That's something that we've been really failing to push, both in the highlight videos and on the stream. Let's like it. Let's get commenting, whatever. Share it if you like. Let's try and help RPM before the start of Season 6, which me and the admins hope is going to be the best season yet. We've got some big changes coming. Details on that will follow. But some exciting stuff going on, so hopefully we can get this advertised to some people aside from drivers in the league. Right, let's see. We want the position changes for the start. We want telemetry and lap data, of course. All good there. So Andrew leads us round. The Mercedes, as I said, starting in a great position, and Wardy in the Ferrari. He needs to bring home some good points for the team. I didn't see if Stebo was able to rejoin, so that may or may not be the AI, and it may or may not be his night over. So, he heads through Stowe Corner. Only a braking zone to go before we get ourselves underway. The gap is huge already there. Andrew's going to want to slow down, otherwise he'll be sat on the grid for a long time. The pack fairly close together. But he's got himself on with it, the AlphaTauri driver. And he'll be lining himself up on the grid. Let's hope that he gets it right this time. He doesn't want cold tyres at the start, and he has got it right this time. So those tyres will be in good condition going at the start. Now I feel like I'm going to have to ride on board with someone in the midfield, because last time we got a terrible camera angle. Unless it holds on this one. This one isn't too bad. I think it is going to hold on this one then. So the final cars line up. Huss takes his grid slot. The marshals at the back waving the green flag. We have lights. We've got 5 of them. And they're out. And the drivers are away. Andrew gets a good start. Looks like Dragos has maybe bogged down a little bit. The AlphaTauri going around the outside already. And the Williams has been forced wide. Has been forced off the track. And there's a spinning Alfa Romeo who's collected the Ferrari. And now the McLaren. And now the Aston Martin. And the Williams. Both McLarens involved. Absolute carnage. Kieran once again. And Huss once again. DNF. They haven't made it through turn 1. And let me guess, the safety car's coming out, is it? We've got green flags through Village. But you just can't write that, can you? The same 2 drivers involved in more or less the same incident. We caught it this time, though. And that's 2 retirements already. And the safety car, well, virtual safety car is out. Is the full course safety car, is it going to come out on track? I hope not. Otherwise, I'll just pack this in, because I cannot be bothered. I cannot be bothered for Safety Car Simulator once again. It doesn't look like it's coming out on track, so I think we'll be underway sooner than, well, not sooner than we'd like, but sooner than we'd maybe thought initially. Andrew with a 3-second gap to Cosmo. He got a great start off the line. And Harry's found himself back in P5. Good start from him. And Rodo, after I said he didn't have the best start in the sprint, he's had a phenomenal start going through Village, and he finds himself already in P6. So he'll have the pace to catch up with the pack, and he'll be hoping for a good result. He is theoretically the fastest driver of the top 6, and he will fancy himself for the race win if strategy works out for him. Schnitzy, I believe, is that damage on the Williams? No, I think he looks okay. Wardy's missing an end plate, so he's probably going to dive into the pit lane to get that fixed. Yes, he is. Schnitzy has stayed out, so he must be okay, although both McLarens were awarded... Sorry, weren't awarded. Well, I've just read that at the top. Both McLarens were involved in that incident, and as you would have seen, Wardy picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, which, it's an unfortunate one. I mean, there's no need to speed. Oh, and it's away. I'm sat here thinking we're full course safety car, but of course we're not. And and there's contact there between the Mercedes and Stubby, who look to dive down the inside as they head through Brooklands. Cosmo has the inside line. Stubby's got the outside line, and he spins. He holds it together. Thank God for that. We couldn't have another incident so soon, but he's compromised his pace a little bit there. Dragos hasn't been able to capitalise. Let's see then. Harry is keen on the back of this. Doesn't run out wide. Keeps it clean on the circuit. Looks to open the entry through Maggots and Beckett's. If he slows himself a little bit here, he can get a great exit all the way down. Great grip through Beckett's there and over Chapel down the hanger straight towards Stowe Corner. Let's keep an eye on this. Dragos is gaining, and so is Stubby. Stubby's going to put a nose up the inside, and he has. What a great move that was. And Cosmo just... I don't know what Cosmo was doing there. He switched back before the apex and tried to stick it in there, and he gets what comes to him, I guess, in that regard, because now he's going to find himself nigh on dead last. And he's got himself beached, has he? No, he's clear. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe I've seen that wrong, but it looked as though Stubby chucked it up the inside, and then Cosmo tried to switch back before the apex. And he's lit up his rear tyres, and now he's not taking it easy. And he finds himself at the back of the field. Let's see what's happening in the midfield then. Who's close? We've got Rodo, who's the closest driver, as they head down Wellington for the third time into the braking zone. Very deep, looking to get the switchback on Harry. Is he going to go for it again or try and hang it around the outside of Luffield? He doesn't get the move done for the time being. We've got support from Croaky in the chat. Evening, mate. Hope the dubs have been coming in. I don't think they have. And that's a Haas. That's Harry dropping it, going through Maggots. And he's got to wait now. He's getting himself out the way. Sensible driving so we can get it turned round off the line close to rejoining there. But he's done it well. He's done it okay. He's done it the best he could. But he finds himself all the way down in P12. And he's spun it again on the grass. A lovely pirouette into the wall. And he's lost his end plate. So he's got front wing damage there as well. He's got to let those rears cool down before he puts his foot down. Cosmo's taken him easily, as you would expect. And has he dropped it again? Has he been hit? He's just dropped it again. That's all good. Steebo then, the closest driver in behind Booty. And the full course safety car is out. For what? For what? For what, says Kimi Räikkönen. So Cosmo picks up a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane, as you might expect. Is Harry going to make it the hat-trick of speeding in the pit lane penalties? Let's take a look. He slows down. I mean, he didn't get a penalty. But he, yeah, it was a little bit touch and go as he entered the pit lane there. So the full course safety car is out for the third time in 12 laps. This is RPM Championship Division for you folks. I hope you're enjoying the night so far. I certainly am. Not. I should have brought more alcohol. I might have to take a break at some point to go and get more alcohol. Oh, no wins. No wins all week. Wow. Wow. I mean, same. I haven't played in a week because I'm done with the game for now. We are drinking just some bog standard JD, mate. JD and just lemonade. Nothing special. Nothing special. Just the one, though. You know, just the one. Not some sort of alcoholic drinking on a Wednesday night. But, you know, when you're sitting here having a good time, why not? Why not? So, there's been an over... Oh, no, Rodo's come into the pit lane then. Oh, and what was that? That was very close by Dino. Everyone is speeding in the pit lane. It's 38 miles an hour, lads. 37 miles an hour, you know? It's no 49 mile an hour pit lane we've got going on here at Silverstone. So Cosmo has 8 seconds worth of time penalties after 5 laps. Obviously, if he has to box again, the 5 seconds will be served in the pit box. So if there's another safety car, which you would assume there will be, then he won't have to worry about, no one will have to worry about the 5-second penalties come the checkered flag. And all the drivers exiting the pit lane very, very close together there. Dino, Schmidt and Schnitty. So Andrew's picked up the safety car all the way down to Freefall, who finds himself in P7. And he's also the biggest gainer alongside the Ferrari of Steebo, who looks to have rejoined in good time. And he's picking up all those positions that his AI so kindly lost him during the sprint race. Croaky gonna join me on the JD. Love to see it, mate. Love to see it. I might even hop on, mate, if there's a trio or a quad going after this. I might even hop on because it has been a while. But anyway, we're racing. We're not playing COD. We're racing at the minute. So let's talk about that later. Good to see you though. Good to see you in chat, back in the stubby. Schnitzy takes a little more over the grass in Valtteri Bottas style. And I'm just chatting pure whatever in the meantime while the safety car is out. Let's have a look in the press room, shall we? That thing that commentators always forget to do is to look in the press room. How many answers do we have? Not too many, but not zero either. Let's take a look. Let's have a look. People talking about their ideal setup. A host looks at his friends lists, tries to get the top 3 setups, tries them all out in Grand Prix mode, and adjusts one that suits him better than the others. That's quite a, seems like a reasonable approach. See what your friends are doing around you, and then make the best of the both worlds, really. So that seems very viable. Kieran trials his setups in time trial to see which one is fastest, and he does the same with a wet setup, so at least he prepares himself with a wet setup. I am not that prepared yet. Maybe next season though, when we'll have no line. I'm not too bothered about wet setups. I just can't deal with it when it comes around. Rodo doesn't have patience to make them from scratch, so he uses an online setup guide, and he adjusts them based on his needs. And Schmidt, the same, uses time trial to go through his setups and applies small tweaks, but he hasn't attempted to make himself a fresh one yet. What else have we got? Natural, oh yeah, let's see how people rate themselves. Host doesn't have too much time to practice. You'll do half an hour before the race, and if you can, that's great. So, Host, I'm glad you didn't spend all week practicing, mate, because so far you haven't even turned the steering wheel. Kieran, he tests setups instead of the circuit, but now he trains with the restricted assist, so he's looking ahead to Season 6, which is a smart move. I'll keep my eyes on this Sector 2 line to see if the safety car is going to go in or go around one more time. Which it is going to come in this lap. Perfect. Smith says he tries to get at least half an hour, if not an hour a day. And if he's not busy, he tries to attend them under practice. So that's going to be at least 10 hours, you would say. At least 10 hours of practice. So great from Schmidt to see that. And it's obviously paying off because he's the top of the championship. So practice pays off. What's that saying? Failing to prepare is preparing to fail. And so far, this preparation keeps him in the lead. So Andrew then, is he gone? He's gone already. He hasn't caught Stubby napping though. Stubby's alive to it. And let's see who's failed to keep their tyres in check. Most people, looks like most people have got through Club Corner. And it was a great line there from Stubby, clipping just the right amount of apex, and that's set him up nicely to dive into the village. Andrew seems to love to run wide there. I'm not sure if that's a mistake or maybe that's just his line. It seems a little bit too wide to be considered quick. Let's say Schnitzy's lining up a move on Smith down at the back of the field, and Booty looking to go for Tonchek, but I'm going to stay with the race leaders for the time being as Stubby looks to take the alternate line through Luffield and out through Woodcote. And now down the old pit straight, past the old pits, down toward Cops Corner. He's not going to be close enough to put a move in. We've got Smith taking Dino and Cosmo with someone off the road there, and the McLaren as well. Someone's gone slow out of Woodcote there because the McLaren is up alongside, and oh my god, they've gone not 3 wide, but 3 of them involved there, going through Cops Corner. I've never seen anything like that before. And now the Ferrari wants to join in the party. The McLaren and the Mercedes going wheel to wheel. Cosmo off the circuit, comes back across the circuit, collides with Wardy, and Harry says thank you very much, I'll take that position off both of you. Cosmo's been all over the place in the last few laps. Really not sure what that was all about there. He seemed to understeer through maggots and then just chuck himself back across the corner. Has he got damage? Yes, he boxes again. Wardy must be okay. The front wing took a little bit of contact there, but it's not enough for him to choose to box. Thank God there's no more safety cars. There's an issue ahead there for Dino, who's gone off at Club Corner. Loss of traction clearly there, and that's opened the door for Harry to sneak on past. Now Harry's going to look to capitalise. What a lap he's having at the minute. He's already got himself past 3 cars. And now he's right on the back of Schnitzy. Andrew still leads 3/10 the gap, and Dragos holding on to P3. He's the second behind. The gap starting to appear. Rodo pretty close in behind Freefall as well. He picks up a 3-second time penalty. That must be from the exit of Cop's corner, which is very easily done. To be fair, it's the compromise between carrying speed and taking the risk of picking up the track limits warning. A little bit of understeer there through Maggot for Harry, but he's got the Haas through there, no problem in the end. Let's rejoin with Stubby. They will look to try and take the lead of the race away from Andrew. We alluded at the start that Andrew has chosen to drop down from Premier Division. The admins allowed that. So he does theoretically have the pace of a Premier driver, but that doesn't seem to faze Stubby. He's staying within that DRS margin. He's going to have DRS, I believe, this lap. So he might make a move down Wellington Straight as he heads into Brooklands. Let's keep our eyes on. Yes, he does have DRS. DRS is now open. He's deploying some battery, as is Andrew, and they're both leveling. He's going to get the move done. At least he's going to put himself alongside. Andrew defends, leaves him the room. Stubby moves up the inside and forces him a little bit wide. All fair game. Stubby takes the lead of the race before Cop's corner at the exit of Woodcote. And the Williams leads the British Grand Prix. If you could hear the fans, they would be cheering, but we can't. Andrew will look to get that position back, surely down the hanger straight. He's going to be within DRS once again. But Stubby leads then, starting in P7 after the sprint. He's had a great opening 9 laps. Harry's picked up a 3-second time penalty. Andrew's not going to be close enough, even under DRS. He's saving that battery. He's got double that of Stubby. Freefall closing in on Stebo, and he has a little snap of understeer there, and he's had to correct himself. He's kept it in a straight line, but he's lost out to Smith. He lets him by. Fair racing, that respect. And now Smith will look to capitalise on the lack of pace that Freefall carried through the chicane. But nothing doing there. No moves on just yet. Let's see, this is still the closest battle. Let's keep our eyes on as people head through the difficult traction zone of Woodcote. Lots of support in chat for Stubby, as you'd expect. We've got Croaky giving his friend his support, and we've got Rodo and Stebo going side by side as they head through Stowe Corner. Room given by both drivers, and Stebo has to box. Stubby also boxes, so the mediums are wearing off. So Stubby will look to get him on the overcut as Andrew stays out to extend that stint. I forgot to check the tyres actually to see what strategy everyone on, so apologies for that. Rodo, the only driver at the front with the hard strategy. So Andrew is also on the medium, so he'll be coming in probably the next lap or the lap after. So outlap is critical for Stubby here if he wants to maintain the lead of the race. I wasn't sure of the gap as Stubby entered the pit lane, but I can't imagine it was any more than half a second or a second. So absolutely critical for him to not push too hard to the point where he spins on those horrible cold hard tyres. But he also can't afford to hang around. He's got to get himself around the circuit and beat Andrew out of the pit lane. Andrew will be pushing like crazy, I would imagine. Let's ride on board with him. all the way. I'm keeping my eyes on the delta times of the other drivers so we don't miss anything. But let's see what Andrew does if he's going to pit this lap. Oh, and he's picked up a penalty. That's not what you want when you're leading the race. That's going to cost him so much. The only way he's going to get rid of that before the checkered flag is a safety car if he boxes again, but you don't want a safety car because then you're going to drop down the order while you serve that time in the pit lane. Let's watch on then with Stubby as he heads down into the Vale chicane. Those tyres will be nice and warm. Andrew is out of his pit box, heading down the pit lane. I think Stubby's going to be clear. It's going to be very tight. And obviously they won't be taking P1, but it'll be provisional. And Stubby is clear. Wait, is he? No, he's not. Andrew is clear. I completely missed him coming out the pit lane there. So Andrew has retaken provisional lead of the race. Or should I say net lead of the race by 6/10. So now Stubby's got to get the move done in this lap while Andrew focuses on that tyre warm-up. Stubby will have far superior grip coming out of these corners. Let's hope Andrew doesn't feel the pressure and give it a little bit too much. Stubby's going to deploy DRS. Is he going to put it up the inside of Cops? Is he going to wait? I feel like it would be wise to wait. He's going to have DRS going down the hanger straight. So Dragos inherits the lead of the race for the time being, but that'll soon change hands unless these two collide. And he also picks up a 5-second time penalty. No one can seem to get into the pit lane. So far it's only been Stubby, and I think one of the driver has made it in the pit lane without picking up a penalty. And he hasn't been able to get the move done. Heading down Wellington now. A lot of positions are changing. A lot of drivers in the pits. No one's dropped it though, thankfully. Oh, and he gets up on that sausage curb there. Stubby, risky. But he keeps it together nonetheless. And he's lapping nearly as fast as he has done all race so far. As we cross over the halfway point of this race. It's flown over so far, in all fairness. Andrew moves over to defend the inside line, seemingly, but Stubby has been let through almost. Not much defence there at all by Andrew. I'm not sure what his thought process is there. Perhaps he wants DRS down the hanger straight, but you would have expected Stubby to have made that move regardless of if he defended it or not. So now we watch on as Andrew attacks. We've got Dino closing in on Harry. I'll keep my eyes on that, but other than that, the battle for provisional, well, net P1, I keep saying the wrong thing. Dino and Harry are battling. Let's keep an eyes on this as they head through Stowe. Oh, and Harry's dropped it. Difficult traction zone, and that's going to be rear wing damage for sure. Is he going to retire? Is he going to keep going? Nobody knows. Only he does. And Andrew is not with it yet. Harry continues. He heads through Vale now. Issue for Sector 3, the Haas is on track. Where is he? He's out the way. And he's come back on now. Dragos is far enough behind for Harry to get on with it. He's not having the best time out there on track, the Haas driver, this evening. And he's gone off again there, has he? And he's pulled back right onto the racing line. Great reactions there by Booty. Absolutely sensational. My God, we were watching that thinking he was just going to plough into the side of him. It's difficult as well, you know, that traction zone. You come around that corner flat out. And a lift mid-corner can easily send the car, can unstable the car. So great driving by him. Not ideal for Harry to be in the position where he was. And he's dropped it again. He's dropped it again. He needs to be very cautious on the throttle here. He's making quite a few mistakes on what I believe is his debut. So, you can't be too hard on him. I'm not trying to be hard on him. But he needs to be careful on that throttle because he needs to open his tyre data. He needs to see that his rears are probably like 110, 115. He needs to just keep them in a straight line for as long as he can. And not give it too many beans. There's your advice, mate, even though you can't hear me. Andrew, still half a second. Waiting for the hard tyre runners ahead to box, and we will see the standings as they are after the pits. But nothing changing at the front. Margins of over a second, pretty much up and down the field, and that is Harry again, failing to get through Cop's corner. Yellow flags out. Is he in the wall? Are we going to have a safety car? No, he's not in the wall, so that's all good. No risk of a safety car. But the battle for the lead of the race is well and truly on. Andrew taking a more standard line through Village, so the earlier, drifts out wide must have been just a little bit of understeer. The full course safety car is out. Harry has DNF'd on the way into the pit lane. His car was there. I really don't know what he was doing for that lap, to be perfectly honest. It may be his RPM debut, but I can't imagine it's his Formula 1 debut. So, a rookie mistake there to not allow those rear tyres to settle down, and we've brought out the 5th safety car of the evening. Oh no, is it? The 5th safety car of the evening, right? We had 3 in the sprint, and this is the 2nd in the feature. Yeah, absolutely. Booty with the 2020 vision. Great reaction. And like I say, not an easy corner to pull that off, to be quite honest with you. He could have, in attempting to avoid that, he could have put himself in the wall. And Schmidt has picked up a 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flags. I'm not entirely sure what that means, but the majority of the grid have some sort of penalty. Look at that. 4 drivers have picked up a pit lane penalty, and 5 drivers have picked up track limits. Now, track limits around this circuit are very easy to pick up. There's a number of corners that's very easy. Turn 1, inside curb, dead easy. Stowe exit curb, dead easy. Cops exit curb, dead easy. Even Brooklands left-hander, inside curb, that's dead easy as well. So, at least maybe 4, 5, 6 chances to pick up track limits warning. So to get round 26 laps without picking up a single penalty is good going, and some drivers have managed that up to this point. We're well beyond the halfway stage. But interestingly, that safety car might have changed things for guys at the front. Stubby currently in P4, and this is it perfect for the hard runners? Now, I don't know how long they would have expected to take these tyres, so let's see what they opt to do. Rodo is staying out. They're all going to stay out. Dino stays out, and then Stubby obviously stays out. So now questions ask, can those hard tyres stay for maybe, 7 laps longer, and then box for, it's not 7 actually, you don't even need to do that, 5, 6 laps to then box for softs? That might be on the minds, especially if we get another safety car. It would almost be the perfect turnout to go on to softs. We've got Schnitzy on those 5-lap old mediums, so he'll struggle to take those to the end, but it's definitely possible. With what will only be 7 or 8 laps to go come the safety car in. He'll have taken them beyond the life quite a way, but I don't think he'll be near puncture territory. If anyone knows in chat, if anyone knows the duration, the lifespan of medium tyres around here, do let me know. I think they would probably start to puncture around lap 15, maybe. You'd be risking sort of 75-80% by lap 15, I would guess. So he might be okay. It'll be very touch and go from the end of the race, but he finds himself in a great position. Let's review the position changes then. So Rodo, obviously not net P1, but he's up starting toward the back of the sprint. And I think he was P12 at the start of this race. He finds himself leading, as I keep referring to, not net though. So Stubby and Andrew, that battle for P1 still all in line. Let's take a look at the chat again. Yeah, must put a bet on it. Yeah, mate, RPM should start. Well, no, we shouldn't. We shouldn't actually start gambling. But I was, a bit of a joke. We should start a sort of in-house bets. What would the odds for this be? What would the odds for that be? Because if you were to put money on 5, maybe 6 safety cars, I'd give 8 to 1 for that, 8 to 1, maybe more, probably more. Obviously in Premier Division that would be like 1 to 1, but not in this division necessarily. Just throwing some shade at my own division there. I'm allowed to do that because I'm part of it. And you know me, during these safety car windows, there's nothing to actually commentate on. What I will say though is, well, I'm going to risk embarrassing myself for the sake of a bit of a laugh. If Stubby does go ahead and get the race win, Croaky might agree that he might be in for some Nurken in the Kirken, maybe? Some Nurken in the Kirken later on tonight. If I haven't remembered that, then I apologise to the Dutchman in chat, but if I have remembered that, then I hope it brought a smile to your face. Because who doesn't love a race win, let's be honest. So hopefully the safety car comes in this lap so I can stop this abysmal banter and we can get on with some actual commentary. And those penalties might really shake up the order, and we'll have to see what the hard tyre runners decide to do with their strategy, how long they're going to risk staying out on those tyres. Did you like that one, Ivor? Yeah, you like that one. Are you passe for a little Nugget in the Kirken? Oh my god. What has this night become? I don't even know if I'm saying it right, but I assume I am. Anyway, safety car has been in. I've completely switched off looking at the chat, so we are racing again. And Rodo held his lead. Thankfully we didn't miss anything. Everybody is away nicely, no yellow flags out. A little bit of a gap all the way down there toward freefall at the back, and there is a yellow flag. It's the other Haas this time, who's kept it out of the wall, but he's dropped it freefall. Now finds himself a long way back from the pack, nearly 10 seconds it will be by the time, or after he's dropped it again. These Haas drivers need to learn. Anyway. Stubby, Andrew, let's ride on board with this then. Andrew could well take the lead, well, the provisional lead, net lead, if he can get the move on Stubby. Stubby's deploying ERS to defend against Andrew. Oh, and he gets very close to the back end there. Everyone keeping it nice and tidy. Let's get an eye on the tyres just to be sure. 14 laps now for those 3 guys at the front, so they're going to be boxing any minute now. I'm glad you guys have liked that one. The Haas again. Is he out the wall? Yes, he is out the wall. All good. Yeah, I do know what it means. It wouldn't be it wouldn't be correct to say it in English, I can't imagine, on stream. So I'll just say it in Dutch so that it goes under the radar. So he does like a bit of Nurkin in the Kirkin after a race win. Good to see. We got McLaren looking to spoil the party, and that's an Alfa Romeo round. Dino, oh my god, he was close there. Keeps it off the racing line, so Dino spins coming through, what's it called? Out the back of Wellington and down into Brooklands. That's the word I was looking for. So he is now fighting his own little battle at the back with Stebo, who's not too far behind. It would be a little bit, overzealous to do too much there. And Schnitzy picks up another 3-second time penalty. Is that his second of the race or only his first? It's the second of the race, unfortunately for him. Let's keep those open actually, because pretty much all the field has one, so that will really shake things up for those that don't. Andrew has taken Stubby, and I've missed it, but it'll have been going through Store Corner. Stubby's boxing. Has he got damage? Oh no. Stubby's boxed. There must have been contact between he and Andrew then, surely. Let's see if he changes his front wing. That's so unfortunate. No Nurkin in the Kirkin for him then. The team are ready. It doesn't... Oh, there is a front wing there, is there? No. Now, is that a mistake? Has he... I mean, it looks intact. But why would he box? Hey, it could be a master stroke, to be fair. If there's another safety car and other guys box for softs, he'll be in a great position. But that's so unfortunate. He was leading net, and he's made some form of contact, I believe, with Andrew going through Store Corner. We'll see that later, if it ends up in the steward's room. If it was his own mistake, then fair enough. So then, Andrew has that margin. Dino has pitted. I believe it was Dino. He'll be now on the softs, I would imagine. Oh no, who was the third guy on hard tyres? That didn't pit earlier. Who knows? Rodo and Schmidt battling wheel to wheel. I'm not entirely sure what position this is for, but it's some entertainment nonetheless. Doesn't get the move done, but Schmidt is in P1 as things stand, and he sets the fastest lap of the race, and everyone sets the fastest lap of the race. I believe it was Rodo or Andrew, and then Schnitzy came along and set a 1:30.881. So great lap from him. We've got 5 laps of the British Grand Prix left to go, and it's been a pretty hectic night, to be quite honest with you. Yeah, I'll be interested to see what the thought process was there from Stubby. Obviously we missed the reason, so... But the fact that he didn't get his front wing change makes me think that there was something strange about that call. Nonetheless, Andrew is gaining on these drivers anyway, and they haven't even boxed yet. Oh wait, they have boxed. Oh yeah. Okay. I completely missed that. They obviously boxed initially at the start of the race, and that's another Haas off at Brooklands once again. So, everything I've been chatting about the net is completely wrong. Smith leads the race because he doesn't have to pit. Those tyres will be toward the end of the lifespan, but he doesn't have to pit. So if he can hang on for another 4 laps, he'll be in the money. Smith leads Rodo. There's a yellow flag at Schnitzy on those mediums, and he's dropped it out of club. And now he has to wait for everybody to drive past, and that margin, the gap has come. So I think he was in P5, he drops down to P11. So Schmidt leads Rodo, leads Andrew for the top 3. All to play for. Only a second and a half separates the top 3 drivers. Dragos 2 seconds behind the podium. He will be looking to just hold what he's got. Stubby sets the fastest lap, as you would expect, half a second faster than Schnitzy earlier. And these penalties are really going to come into play. Rodo is on for a great result. And Tonchek and Wardy could sneak onto the podium if timings stay in and around this. I'm not going to do the maths because I'll probably get it wrong anyway. Croaky saying that Stubby did have a little bit of front wing damage. Now, regardless, he didn't change it, did he? So it was either a mistake by the game or he didn't have time to tell the game to switch. I know sometimes it's not enough. Andrew takes Rodo, but Rodo will be aware about the 5-second time penalties of both drivers in front. He'll see that on his screen, so he's aware. He doesn't have to give it too much. He may have even just let him past. No good getting knocked out so late into this race. Yeah, Stubby having a bit of damage. If it's enough to box, you would have expected the game to change the front wing. So I believe the game may have messed up there, or maybe he didn't set it to change. Because the automatic setting doesn't often work if you've got minor damage. But it might have not been enough of an offset to really hinder the performance of the car, so it's a shame. But it doesn't look like the safety car will be coming out, because it's too late for that. So after what looked like an absolute great run from Stubby from the back of the field through the pack up to what at a certain point in time was P1, he now finds himself all the way down in P12, 12 seconds off the pack. So very unfortunate for him there. But the battle for the race lead well and truly on. As things stand, Rodo will inherit P1 after the penalties have been applied. But you never know what can happen in these final 3 laps, these final 2.5 laps. Booty closing in on P6, however he also has a time penalty. And Dragos is going to drop right down the order, possibly all the way down to maybe P9 after all these standings. That's not going to stop Booty from thinking about an overtake. If I was Wardy, I'd be saying please don't. There's no need. But if you're a racing driver, you just want to get any move done, I would imagine. So, Schmidt leads us over the line on the penultimate lap of the race. Finds himself up from P9, great drive from him thus far. And Rodo up from P12 as we alluded to earlier. Yeah, I agree, Ivor. I've learned from that in the past. You've always got to set it to yes. If you want that front wing change and you can't rely on the automatic setting, you've got to get it changed yourself. There's an issue. What a surprise. It's the Haas. Anyway, Booty is really closing in on him, and he's got a far better exit there coming out of Brooklands down through Woodcote, but the Ferrari deploys the ZRS and stays ahead. Wardy has a little bit more to defend with, but they're going to head through Maggotts and Beckett's. Very, very close. Speeding in the pit lane penalty once again for Freefall, who comes in presumably for a new front wing, or maybe he just wants the softs for the fastest lap perhaps. Booty opens DRS, looks to take it up the inside, which he does, and he takes P6 for the moment. Ahead, Dragos dropping a position to Tonchek. He has to change his line there. He was going to go right into the back, and that's very close on the front wing. Chooses not to dive down the inside, knows that he's got his penalty. Tonchek moves up to P4 then. Let's take a look at the leader times with those penalties so we can see. Yeah, a lot of changes here then. Who's that? Is that Freefall's AI maybe coming back out the pit lane? Tonchek could be on for a P2. I believe he's only a 10th away from it, so he's got to keep going. I'm not sure if you'll see. You won't know that Schmidt has the penalty, I don't think, unless he's checked earlier. But he's got to give it everything. He's realistically 2/10 off a P2, I believe. So he's got to keep going. Yes, Croaky, absolutely right. You're doing my job for me. Williams on the podium. Could still be on. Andrew will be the one who drops off the podium. Very wide there by Tonchek. He hasn't picked up a penalty, so the game's allowed him there. But he's now all over the back of Rodo somehow, even after going wide. On the final lap of the race then, I'll ride on board because Andrew is also going to make a move. He's gone off the circuit on the final corner. It's not going to affect the standings too much. Rodo drops behind Tonchek, but Tonchek's not going to be close enough to win the race, I don't think. 2/10 in it. Smith crosses the line first. Andrew second. Tonchek, he's going to be 2/10 off the victory. He takes P2 under 2/10 off the victory. He'll be gutted by that. Maybe he's only just realised. Andrew rounds off the podium. Rodo takes P4. Wardy, good result for Ferrari in P5. Booty, Dragos, Stebo, Cosmo and Dino round off the top 10. Schnitzy, Stubby and Freefall, the finishers in 11th, 12th and 13th. Disaster for Haas today. Really struggling and not great for McLaren either. A P11 and a DNF. If you remember back at the start, Kieran and Huss haven't turned the wheel yet in racing action. Very unfortunate for them, but kind of funny at the same time. Very close indeed, Croaky, but that's the result. Again, I'm not sure if Tonchek would have known about the tight margin. Again, he would have seen P2 with a 5-second penalty, but I don't think he would have seen P1 with a 5-second penalty. So he'll be kicking himself if he didn't know, given that, you know, one slight correction of the wheel at some stage could have brought that time back on the final lap. Nonetheless, though, we wait for the podium and we'll see the final standings. So Williams win the race in the end. Well done to them, and Alfa Romeo are up there on the podium as well with AlphaTauri and Andrew. Yeah, Croaky, absolutely one hell of a race. The sprint was a little bit underwhelming, but nonetheless, we've had a great evening tonight and lots of action, and obviously those early pit stops, which I completely missed. I kept banging on about how they still need to pit. They didn't. Schmidt's gone on to win the race. So let's just review where we got. Oh, I've pressed the wrong button. Oh well, that's my fault. Anyway, so Schmidt's won the race. Williams have been victorious. I do see it on my phone, so I can quickly run through it. Schmidt, Tonchek, Andrew, Rodo, Wardy, Booty in P6, Dragos P7, Stebo, Cosmo, Dino, Schnitzy, Stubby, Freefall. The finishers, and then obviously Harry and Huss and Kieran, the DNFers this evening. Yeah, I have a good look for the stewards indeed, because that seemed to have a lot of action, although a lot of it was self-induced. I think there were a few incidents, but a lot of the incidents came in lap 1, which will all probably be collated into the same ticket anyway, and the rest was just drivers not being able to keep it on the road. So penalties had their say in that race, nearly changed the outcome of the entire race, but in the end Williams came out on top. So that's it from me. I appreciate everyone who joined me in chat. I don't think we reached 20, which is disappointing, but we had a consistent 17 or 18 viewers throughout, so thank you all for that. We will catch you next week when we head into the penultimate round of RPM Season 5 around the streets of Baku, a very, very difficult circuit, which I don't think is featured on an RPM calendar to date. I might be wrong, but it hasn't been on since Season 3, that's all I know. A series of 90-degree corners, high-speed, low-downforce circuit will surely make for a good race. So hopefully we'll see you all next week.